Everybody in this Andor scene is being forced into a role that half fits and half violates who they really are. Cassian becomes a soldier, Taramyn becomes a stormtrooper again, Gorn becomes the calm Imperial officer one last time, Vel and Cinta become shadows hiding in the dark, and the Aldhanis continue the pilgrimage while passing through an armed corridor of occupation that insists it's normal. The governing idea is that rebellion at this stage does not yet look like open resistance. It looks like concealment, impersonation, code, discipline, silence. But the counter-idea is everywhere too. Identity resists erasure. Taramyn cannot stop sounding like an authoritarian. Cassian cannot stop sounding like an outsider. The Aldhanis cannot help but curse the uniforms of armed men as they pass. Gorn's responses to his superiors betray a surprising amount of truth. This is a scene where everyone is pretending, and the power of it lies in how much truth leaks through anyway. Coincidentally, that is the same theme as Club Silencio from Mulholland Drive, which I've recently done an analysis on. The first movement of the scene establishes that to strike a system this large, you first have to disappear inside the machinery of its assumptions. This has echoes of what Cassian already said to Luthen in that foundry hall about the Empire being too lazy and easy to steal from. This is an insurgency at work, coded, technical, calm, procedural. The rebels are building their own invisible network across the valley, using discipline and timing to create a second reality under the official one. The battle radio exchange is the sound of a parallel order coming alive under the Empire's nose. Nemik explains that once it locks in, it will carry on working long after everything else is fried. That line is practical on the surface, but thematically it says this is what rebellion needs to be in Andor: resilient, adaptable, able to outlast the system's ordinary channels. No disguise is complete. People carry their history into the role, and that history keeps surfacing. Cassian puts this plainly without meaning to in his light suspicion of the radio. He says it looks Imperial. Much of the rebellion in Andor is made from stolen Imperial form, repurposed for the opposite end. But the line also speaks to the deeper discomfort of the whole scene. The rebellion is borrowing the enemy's tools, uniforms, language, and choreography. That's necessary, but it is also contaminating. Taramyn becomes the strongest embodiment of this tension. Once we learn that he was a stormtrooper, the whole scene reorders itself. His command style, his bossiness, is history reactivating under pressure. The rebellion needs his training, but the training comes from the very institution they're fighting. Taramyn tells Cassian he is a soldier now, forcing him into something more complete. Not act like a soldier, you are a soldier now. In the immediate context, he means performance. On the level of the episode, it's a prophecy. Cassian is being told what he will become before he is ready to accept it. For what it's worth, I will come back to this one day, but I do not believe Cassian truly becomes a soldier until the prison arc. Taramyn's past is explicit now. He was once formed by the Empire at the level of muscle memory, command structure, and battlefield identity. He has lived inside the machine's most iconic uniformed expression. He hopes that the discipline and order he learned under the Empire can be morally purified by placing them in the service of rebellion. That is not entirely false, and he is useful precisely because of what he was, but the scene shows us how inescapably the past still shapes him. Cassian says he likes giving orders, doesn't he? And Skeen says, makes sense, right? He's been built by command hierarchy. Under stress, that old form returns. That makes him more than merely useful, it makes him tragic. The rebellion needs him at his most Empire-shaped for this to work. Skeen makes a comment about how Cinta reacted when she found out. We discover stormtroopers killed her family. I don't think we ever learn Taramyn's origin story, but I wonder if it's the same. Not that anything happened to his family, but that he had to be involved in carrying out such orders and noped out as a result. Skeen's function in this scene is subtle, but as always, sharp. He is always prodding at fault lines. He weaponizes knowledge socially. He turns hidden histories into present facts. He is the scene's reminder that revolutionary coalitions are morally unstable assemblages held together by necessity rather than natural trust. We cut to the women of the team and finally see what they've been up to. They're hunkered down on the other side of the base, the dam side, on the other side of the reservoir. Vel's line, "It might be best if we split these up between us and," is cut off by the arrival of the soldiers. She is trying to maintain operational control, but the real shape of the occupation intrudes physically, crudely and unpredictably. Her authority in this scene is defined by compression. She has to think, plan, and stay still under pressure. They sink into the shadows. Cinta, meanwhile, seems to become contained intensity. She is trapped in the proximity of Imperial banality. For someone with her history, that would be its own violence. Their hiding place is an ancient, rudimentary structure that provides shelter from the Aldhani wind. You'd have to assume any structure the Dani's built in this valley has something to do with the eye and once carried some meaning. That's important once the soldiers arrive to piss beside it. It's one of the ugliest little acts in the episode because it is casual desecration, the ordinary body language of occupation. The soldiers treat the landscape as theirs to use without thought. Their crude conversation sounds like sexual gossip, probably about a man caught between two women or some kind of sordid barrack story. You just know these guys draw a lot of willies on the back of toilet stall doors back at the base. The eye roll moment from Vel and Cinta humanizes them under extreme tension. They're in mortal danger, yet the soldiers' idiotic conversation is still recognizable as idiotic. Immature little boys without a grasp on class or shame. That tiny flash of shared exasperation says, even now, even here, while we're scared of them, these men are still pathetic. Atop the dam, Gorn's line to Pettigar is one of the best in the scene. Well, the Danis don't believe it ever ends, so yes sir, it has definitely started. It is elegant, double-edged, and culturally attentive in a way Imperial speech usually isn't. Gorn is still performing Imperial professionalism, but he cannot stop himself phrasing reality through the Dani's belief rather than Imperial certainty. Nobody's noticed except us, but he is already speaking from a threshold position throughout this episode. He's in uniform, but his language has shifted. Checking in with Cassian / Clem, we find our squad facing each other across the path, creating a controlled corridor. Then the Danis emerge and walk through it. The sacred pilgrimage now passes through an Imperial checkpoint. Ritual is still happening, but only under armed supervision. The first visible burning crystal streaking through the sky means the celestial event is no longer future anticipation but active presence. It means time is narrowing. It also links the rebels' movement to something much older and larger than their plan. When Taramyn finally screams for his squad to march, the action begins. The momentum of the heist starts to build. It formalizes their theft of authority and represents the biggest threshold moment they've had yet. The rebels are now using Imperial command language to append themselves to the back of a sacred people's procession. Everybody is in costume, but nobody is fully concealed. The Empire believes it has organized this valley into visibility and order. The rebels are betting that invisibility can be manufactured inside that order, and the deeper truth running between both groups is that the land itself still belongs most fully to the people who remember what it means. The scene takes the machinery of a heist and fills it with history, grief, disguise, and desecration. It is thrilling on a technical level. The radios lock, the teams move, the timings align.
But what gives it real dramatic force is the human instability underneath. Taramyn is commanding from old Imperial muscle memory. Cassian is being told to inhabit a role he does not yet believe in. Vel and Cinta are hiding inside ancient stone while soldiers laugh and desecrate the landscape outside. Gorn is still speaking the language of the Empire, but with meanings it can no longer fully hide. And through all of this, the Danis, reduced but not erased, keep walking.